As the room fill up, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the ice wall. Let's get it. We're going to have a specialty episode with you and you and you today. The Cowboys state of the defense. Times trench warfare. We're going to talk about other local things that's happening too. So stay tuned for more and more. Let's get it. All right. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Let's get it.
Do you want from me?
Hey, 5, 4. Give me a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Come on with it. More of me or more of you? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on. Surprise. I got it. Jazz from BLS. Come on. All right.
Put a 2 in the chat if my audio is good.
Put a 2 in the chat if her audio is good. Yeah. Come on with it.
Somebody said R.I.P. Drake.
Why they be doing Drake like that, man? Why they do Drake like that?
Drake did this to himself.
No doubt. Who's leading right now, Drake or K-Dot?
Last time I checked, unless something happened in the past 12 hours or so, K-Dot is definitely up in this one.
Man, these boys are coming out with songs and music like this. And it's crazy how fast they are coming out with it. And let me just give y'all a pen around where we are at. And basically, we are here at the training facility. We got a lot of students here. The great thing that what my guy B-Tuck does is these students, when they join the trench warfare, they got to be good in school. That's one of the things that they got to be. And they got to have a 3.0 GPA and all of that, So it's one of those things where it's good for the community. We had Talib Akib to come in. We got some more and more people coming in. Here my guy B-Tuck right here. Guy with the red cap. He trains with Osa. He trains with, he trains Osa. He trains Gilmore, Navel Gallimore, I meant to say, and as well as D-Law. So we got some of those guys that may come through and to the folds right here. But it's going to be me and Jazz flying this plane today. Just make sure we put the wheels down, right?
Right.
When it's time to land, because we don't want to be stuck in there. And I ain't Denzel Washington. Hey, you seen that movie where he flipped that plane upside down?
I'm pretty sure I did.
You haven't seen that movie?
Which one are you talking about?
Hey, y'all, tell Jazz. He said, turn me up a little bit. Tell Jazz to watch that movie. Shoot, I don't even know the name. Pilot. Yeah, plane. What's the name of that Denzel Washington? Y'all tell me. Shout out to you, Ricky Carter. Flight? Yeah, Flight. The name of the movie, Flight.
Okay, that might be like one Denzel movie I haven't seen.
Oh, you gonna love Flight. You gonna love Flight. You definitely gonna love Flight.
And then I'll have a better understanding of how you put these shows together.
Yeah, it's literally me building the plane while it's in the air. Yeah. But man, I appreciate everybody for coming in. And y'all know how this goes. How we do all of this. And that's me trying to find the name of that movie Denzel Washington played in. But and we are live. We are live.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Hold on. I got double me. And so many people, when we do these type of shows, they want perfection, right? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, co-pilot. Yeah. So, okay. Ricky, you might have to go out and come back in because everybody else can hear us, But the topic at hand, we seen my guy, Micah Parsons. He's been everywhere. Yes. Micah Parsons been everywhere but on the Cowboys field. What's your thoughts on that, man? What's your thoughts on that, Jazz?
Well, I'm not sure how he ended up in Japan. So
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure it has to do with some sort of Bleacher Report thing. But the whole sumo wrestling thing, honestly, it didn't really surprise me that much.
Mm-hmm.
Because last offseason, he mentioned that he was trying to learn different combat maneuvers and different
Right.
styles of combat to incorporate into how he does what he does. And so I'm like, okay, now that he's in Japan, it makes sense that he's going to go and visit some sumo wrestlers and see what he can incorporate from that, too. So I'm just like, Micah likes to bring a combative style to his style of defense. And so now he's learning a new style.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is that I feel like since he started this podcast and he's done all the jersey swap stuff, there have been so many people who seem to not like the fact that he's so friendly with people from other teams, right?
Right.
And so watching him and CJ Stroud take this trip to Japan together, there have just been like a lot of mixed feedback about it. I personally think it's funny. But there are some people who definitely don't like it. I don't have a problem with it though. Are you one of like the old school people who's like he's not on our team, like you should hate CJ Stroud, or you just kind of like, hey, it's 2024?
Now here's as long as it's during the off season on the front end of
Right.
it. Now on the back end of the off season, if he's still hanging around CJ and them, and if it's on the back end pass like Oxnard, I'm gonna be like, hold on, dog.
I get that.
Hey, what my guy Boosie? I'm gonna put you like,
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
come on, man.
Come on, man.
Hey, man, the jersey swap thing, I get it. I understand. He's a fan of the players and he's a fan of the other teams. But at some point, he's going to have to realize that certain teams you just don't do that with. I'm old school, right? So here's my other thing that I was talking about. I was talking about the fact that during the season, he had his podcast.
Right.
During the off season, he don't have his podcast. I'm like, dog, wait,
But
that
he's
podcast
in Japan doing work for Bleacher Report. It's not the podcast, but that's content.
But that it is content. That is content.
Because that's how they
Yeah.
ended up together. When he did the interview for Bleacher Report, when he interviewed CJ Stroud at Media Row for the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl week, I think that's when Bleacher Report realized, like, oh, people actually like the dynamic between these two.
Yeah.
So we're going to send them to Japan to do this whole first pitch thing. And people are like, people
It was
just
a good
love the
pitch,
content.
too. It was a
Yes,
good pitch,
it
good
was a
pitch,
solid
good
pitch.
pitch,
And
yeah.
people are loving the content. So now
Uh-huh.
Bleacher Report is like, okay, we're just going to have y'all do everything together. So it's not his podcast,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
is still hired content. Now, like you said, when it comes to the season, I personally don't have a problem with him doing the podcast during the
Right.
season. I don't expect to see CJ Stroud as a guest. I don't expect to see him taking trips with CJ Stroud.
We played at Texas. We played at Texas this year, though, do we? We played at
Do we?
Texas,
I don't know.
Don't we, y'all?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Eastside Harold is in the chat. He probably knows.
Yeah.
Since he's a Cowboys and a Texans fan.
Uh-huh.
Quiet as it's kept.
Yeah. He is a absolute Cowboy guy. Because I be like asking him like, what's this player number on the Texans? He don't know it, but I be like, hey, what's Lamb number? He be like 88, But
yeah.
it is what it is. When I think of it, I get it. Other players may look at that sometimes as a distraction, but they not of the kind of caliber of Parsons, so they
Right.
can't say it. So I look at Parsons, whereas you got to create our own rule for him because he's generational talented.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And there are so many people on the Cowboys who do content in various ways, whether it's them going on the radio station or Hankins had a YouTube
Yeah.
show all last season that nobody ever talked about. So it's not like Micah's the only person
No,
doing
he's not the only
content,
one.
but I think it's because of his popularity that there tends to be a spotlight on him. But honestly, I think the content is great. I'm glad that he's having fun because we hear so many stories about people just like burning out because they don't do anything fun during the off season.
Right.
So I'm glad that he's finding a way to add to his arsenal, even though he's been sent to Japan. If he can bring back some of those sumo wrestling moves and do something with it,
It's a
when,
plus
when
for
he's
us.
in the trenches, hashtag
Yeah.
where we are, observing these kids, then hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too. If he can just pick up just one little bit of it, yeah, one little piece of it, it's okay. It's okay for us. And on top of that, when we start thinking about everything, Brock Hoffman got him a YouTube page.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
I haven't actually seen his content. I've heard about it, but like honestly, I don't have a problem with anybody doing whatever it is that they're doing, because no matter which era of sports you go to, there's always been some sort of distraction. Like we talked about how in the 90s they had the White House and they were doing whatever they did there.
Right.
You know, for
Right.
for a while there was just like excessive media coverage. You know, now we have players creating their own content. So there's always going to be something that players are into off the field whenever they're not in the building. And, you know, props to the people who spend extra time in the building compared to other people. But like players are going to have their hobbies, and it's just a little bit more public now, you know. But everybody's doing something, whether it's private, like even Michael Jordan, like talked about how he liked to gamble, he liked to golf, he liked to compete. Everybody has something that they're doing besides just their job. So I think the fact that we can see it makes people feel like they're in a position to criticize it, but like none of it bothers me because I don't even expect these players to be all Cowboys 24/7. Maybe most of the day, maybe most of the week, especially during the season. But like, you know, they're gonna have some way to unwind, to get a release or whatever. So
No doubt, no doubt. We got our first super chat. Nigel says, as long as he is throwing around offensive linemen again, I'm all for it.
100%.
Yeah. As long as nothing drops off far as his overall collective skill sets, of course. It's just that, you know, perceptions equals reality, right? And on top of that, when the Cowboys lose, it seems like the world stopped.
yes.
It's like the end of the world. The sky is falling. It's been 30 years. Oh, my goodness, man. Cut my head off. Do all of this stuff because the Cowboys lost.
And
you
they'll
know?
blame anything that they've seen a player doing that
Right.
wasn't watching film. Like, they'll watch media availability, and CD will laugh at a joke.
Yeah.
And then if he drops a pass in the game, it's like, see if he wasn't out here laughing at jokes.
Just jokes.
It's like,
And Law, if you would have wore your jacket, you know, we would have won, man. It's your fault, Law. They be blamed. Now, you
Right.
know they blame us.
they'd
you
be
know?
like, y'all not taking the opponent seriously. It's like, I'm not coaching them. What?
Chauncey, what's up, man? What's with you, dog? Hey, man, when you get a chance, man, come squeeze on in, man. You know? And we put you right on the blast, man. Trench warfare. You know, we put you in the trenches, man. We got this seat. We had this seat saved just for you. Just for a quick second, you
Wanna
know.
come hang?
Yeah, and we can build another chair for him. We got another headset and everything. You know what I mean?
He's thinking about
He
it.
thinking about it. He like, I don't know, man. I just left church and everything. I ain't even ate yet, you know. You fit right on in. You'll help us out because we talking about trench warfare. We talking about my guy Parsons. He's doing sumo stuff.
Yeah, I just saw that video.
Hey, you next? It's a little difficult right
I mean,
there.
Micah's a little different.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. But we got Chauncey, man. He ain't on camera yet. You know, he chilling though. You know, he chilling. He ready to eat his oodles and noodles and all that good stuff. Yeah. So,
Where were we?
where were we? But it's Zimmer going for it. Here's my thing is with Mike Zim. He's an old school coach that I say he a Territorian. He's on the sidelines. He's I'm getting the wrong thing. He's on the sideline. Hey, they're like, what's going on in Shakertons? Hold on. Law, can you go back to Shakertons? But he's a Territorian. He's a guy that's going to be on the sidelines. He's going to be a guy when you mess up and you're supposed to shoot through A gap and you took the chicken route and go through B gap. And he's going to like, hey, wait a minute. I wish I had my drop. I don't have it on here. But that's going to be him talking, though. It's something similar to that. And I think that is what's needed because when you are a coach, sometimes it's all about getting that vibe and that passion and that feeling so that you can let people know you effed up or
Right.
you can let people know you did a great job.
100%.
But you can do that if you're on the sideline. You can't do it when you're way up there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yes, I am looking forward to that dynamic and him being on the sideline with the players. As far as him and how he handles players' distractions, like I said earlier, no matter what era of sports you go to, there's always been distractions.
Right.
And I think Zimmer is prepared to kind of deal with the fact that in this day and age, the distractions are a little bit more public. I predict that as long as Micah and whoever else is doing what they're supposed to do at practice during the game, it'll be fine. He comes off to me exactly like you said, like he's firm. He's going to put his foot down. He has a standard that he expects you to meet.
Right.
However, I don't see him being so controlling that he tries to control players' personal life unless it gets to the point where it interferes or conflicts with what they're supposed to be doing as a player.
Right.
That's when he's going to start to draw the line. But I think as long as Mike is doing his job, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, and here's what another thing that I wanted to bring up. Let me see if I can build the plane while we in the air. I want to pull up this right here, so that we can go over this. And they're gonna log me in. They're gonna log me out. I ain't pulled it up before. Hold on, y'all bear with me. We building the plane as we fly, because I wanted to talk about the way Zim approaches things. He send me a code. Give me that code. Give me that code. And
Logging
Zim,
into
Zim,
Instagram
yeah,
is a
yeah,
whole
go.
thing.
Yeah. It's a whole like, hey, Law, you gotta take care of this. Send me the code. You ain't send me the code yet. Come on, give me that code. But never mind. We'll go with it another way then. I think I got it. I know I got it on my YouTube. So go ahead. Keep talking while I go ahead and pull this up, Jazz.
Are
Let
you looking
people
for
know.
a clip of Zim?
No. I'm looking for a clip of what I talked about the other day. It's about the double A gap, and I want to pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up and show everybody on the screen right here. And give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Boom, 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 boom.
I've been trying to learn as much as possible about Zim ever since I found out
Here
that
we
he'd
go.
be, on the staff this year.
Say less.
And if his approach has the same impact on the defense that Schottenheimer's approach had on the offense, which I know people have their gripes about the offense and it wasn't perfect, but if you compare it to when, what's his name? I forgot
There
this
we
man's
go.
name already.
Quinn.
No, the previous offensive coordinator.
But I got it right here.
Mike Zimmer's double
you hear
A
that?
package. Takes
can
his
hear
two inside linebackers, Barr and Kendricks, and instead of lining them up in a normal alignment, he puts them in the Mike Zimmer's double A package. Takes
There we
his
go.
two inside linebackers, Barr and Kendricks, and instead of lining them up in a normal alignment, he puts them in the A gap. Then he takes his free safety, Harrison Smith, and he lines him up on the line of scrimmage. Then he takes his nickel corner and he puts him on the line of
Everybody.
scrimmage on the strong side. So now they got 4 defenders on one side of the center, and they got 4 defenders on the other side of the center.
Yeah.
It's Mike Zimmer's double A package.
What's up, Coach? All right. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pause it right here. And as you can see, when we start talking about getting the center confused, because the center touches the ball 100% of the time.
Right.
And what we're trying to do here collectively is basically get him off kilter. And if you got a guy with the kind of caliber of speed of Parsons,
Yes.
who, when we look at his sack total last year, over half of his sacks came from the inside.
Okay.
You know, when he blitz straight down the middle, and the quickest path to the quarterback is through the middle.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do, if I'm Zim, I'm trying to put my fast twitch, quick guys that can get upfield and wreak havoc, and that will be a Parsons.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind that we also have an Eric Kendricks who's pretty much bathed in this system before.
Yes.
Took complete deep baths in this system, so he's fully immersed into the knowing and the knowledge. You see it? I'm putting all of these words together so people can contextualize what I'm saying. Is that all it takes now is for Parsons to say, okay, I get it. I'm an edge guy, but now the quickest path to the quarterback is right here in this double A gap blitz that we can do.
Right, and that might happen. I think what we're going to see is, like, one, with Kendricks, his familiarity with Zimmer's coaching style and his philosophy is probably going to benefit him more than knowledge of any actual plays. Because the same way
Right.
that you and I can see that video, so can anybody else.
Right.
I thoroughly expect Zim to bring some new things to the table, not only because of the access to information, but because of some of the things that he said when he was asked about Micah Parsons in the first place. He seemed to be very big on evaluating the players that we had and the players that we've drafted and the players that we're going to sign, and figuring out the best use for them as opposed to coming up with a use for players that don't exist yet. So we might see that, what you just showed. We might see something else. But the overall philosophy of confusing the center, that's going to remain a constant.
Yeah.
And so I think Kendrick's familiarity with Zim, I think what that's going to allow him to do is be like, okay, I'm used to this coaching style. I kind of know what his goal is, so I kind of have an idea of what he wants. Now I can figure out, okay, how do I accomplish all these things in a synergistic way with my new teammates? That's where that's going to be an advantage, because now he can focus on that and not have to adjust to as many things, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I think everything that you're saying about how we'll see Micah being used 100% possible. But I also think that Zim is like a really smart man, and we might actually see some surprises out on the field as well.
Yeah. They say wisdom is the total sum of knowledge, right?
That's one definition.
One definition. And a lot of times you can be knowledgeable of something but don't have the wisdom, meaning that the experiences.
Right.
And the reason why I say all of that is because even though we are on this beautiful Sunday, I just want to let people know that that's what Zim ultimately is going to bring. Not no shade at Dan Quinn, but now we got concrete information that Dan Quinn, when he was here, he was just pretty much building things on the fly, right? Oh, Parsons is this unique specimen. I'm going to put him on the edge. I'm going to put him over here. But without purpose, right? And then you disregard some of your other guys that you drafted, like the Sam Williams of the world, right? You already had a Fowler. You already had a Armstrong that can give you stuff, right? And you had that voided area at linebacker. So what Zim is going to do is, okay, I know that I got this generational talented player. I'm not just going to pigeonhole this team or just put them only on one spot. I'm going to move this guy around like chess pieces. Plus, get the better out of this dude named Nealon, right? Knees. Well, we got Nealon. We got Ghost and Chauncey over here at the other end. He's about, 285?
I'm bad at estimating that, especially when it comes to people who have like such a low body fat percentage. It's tough.
It's tough on
But
it,
yeah, if somebody's at 285, sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you said no shade to Dan Quinn, but I'm like, I feel like that's a decent reason to shade somebody. Like you have generational talent on your defense, and you don't even really figure out the best way to use it. So I'm just like, anybody who wants to throw shade at Quinn, all right. Like, I feel like you can criticize someone and even throw a little bit of shade without being overly disrespectful. And I think all your criticism in that moment was reasonable, you know? But, yeah, just listening to how Zim talks. Like, I don't like to try to predict, like, what a person's going to do. I know a lot of people like to do that. They're like, I think he's going to do this. I think he's going to do that, which can be a fun game. But I just think overall he just seems to have a really good understanding of how to make players work together in a synergistic way to accomplish the overall goal of what he's trying to do. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Put pressure on the quarterback.
Exactly.
That's overall. They call it simulated pressure. Keep going.
We've seen Micah do that so many times where it's like, even if he didn't, get all the way home and like actually get a sack, where it's just like his presence would disrupt the offense or disrupt the quarterback specifically enough to cause them to make a mistake. So I feel like if you can take that and instead of it happening by chance, if you can take that and systemize it, we're going to see this defense perform on a whole nother level,
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
You and I both are. I'm excited to the point where I can't wait for this doggone training camp to get here.
Me too.
Yeah. And then you know how it be like on training camp the first few days, it's still kind of like soft a little bit. And then when they put those pads on, that's when you really be like, yeah. So if you guys are making that trip to Oxnard this year, be sure to come when it's pad day, because that way you'll see the differences. And then for those who went last year, you was out there last year. Now you can do, comparisons and analysis on, you seen how Dan ran his crew of people, and then you would see how Zim will run his crew of people. Here's another nugget right here. The craziest thing is, I was praising Dan Quinn out there in Oxnard for turning his hat to the back and getting into the face of the players and teaching them on the fly and teaching them, hey, this is what you need to do. But it was the exact opposite during the game because he wasn't on the sidelines. And I hate to bring up old stuff, but it just goes to show you that we need a complete total of these coaches being on the field, being right there in the mix, feeling the vibe, feeling the temperaments, and getting things going.
I think the praise of Dan Quinn for his approach during practices and during training camp made sense. I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody who, gave him praise or gave him his flowers when he deserved them, right? But I do think that, people did want to see a little bit more of that personal interaction during the games. I think a lot of people, especially people who have played before, thought that might make a difference in how the defense was functioning. And I think now that, we're getting Zimmer in and a lot of people are anticipating that they'll see that, I think that's what's got a lot of people excited about that and just already anticipating the contrast between last season and what they expect to see this season.
No doubt.
So
let me see if I can get this better camera turned around so that people can see this drill, and I can break that down if possible. Right. Let me see if I can squeeze the camera out just a little bit. And we're going to go over this drill that they're teaching right now. We got one of the D-line guys. Yeah. Right there. Appreciate you. It's a little stuck right here. Boom. There we go. Come on with it. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate y'all patience all together. And boom. I thought I had boom, but then here go the boom. There to go the boom. All right, boom. All right, so when you're talking about a drill like this, what you're looking for, and this is, they're finna get into some competition parts of it right here. And these young guys, man, they put in a good time. And let me wipe this lens out. I think I got a little smurgy on it. Let me get my little Miller Lite. Is that clear, Jazz?
there's streaks on it now.
Streaks on it? What about now?
Do you have a microfiber thing? It's
I'd have messed it up. What about
it's
now?
better. That's one of those towels that leave streaks. Let me see if I have my microfiber towel that I use for my glasses.
Okay.
Or you can try this. Just rub that on the lens.
Mm-hmm.
That might work better, even though that's not what that's for.
Right. What about now?
Yes, wonderful.
Wonderful. Well, we 4K now. 4K law, 4K jazz. Yes, indeed. So look at that. The trenches. Look at the explosiveness get off right there. And then we got the set right here. We looking at it, got the head in the dirt, the center. Oh, there we go. So what they did with this camp is they got 50. They got 50 offensive linemen. You good. They got 50 offensive linemen, youth offensive linemen, and they got 50 youth defensive linemen. So you see my guy B Tuck way here in the corner over there. That's a good rep by White Shirt. Good rep. Get down there again. Ooh, look at that boy got that explosiveness. You got to get that offhand in there, and he's able to get that going. Oh, most certainly. So, Osa, we got Osa right there with the water jug. Yeah. Yeah, we might have to bring Osa over here. To explain this drill. Explain.
What I really like about this configuration of students here is that with 50 O linemen and 50 D linemen who are dedicated enough to show up on a Sunday afternoon to work on drills like this, is that you can tell that some of these guys have never really gone up against this many people who are as committed to their craft as they are. And just in the time that I've gotten here, watching the evolution of some of their mechanics has really shown the value of what camps like this bring. And it's like, I know people might be like, oh, they're not in pads, you know, but it's like, they're really focusing a lot on mechanics right now and getting their movement. So I don't think this is a situation where they want these guys to hit each other as hard as possible. They want them to learn how to hit and how to make contact. And so them not being in pads allows them to kind of focus on their own mechanics, their own movements, and making sure that some of the stuff that they were implementing when they were over here off to the side going slower, they can actually put that into practice against somebody who's going at a little bit higher intensity. But it's like, it's really hard to like explain the value whenever you're just like showing just a snippet. Because I've been watching since before we went live, guys.
Okay.
So watching for that much time and just seeing how some of these guys, they're starting to get it. They're starting to move a little bit differently. You can see how their movement is becoming more efficient. And the fact that they're learning all this as at a high school level is really, really special. I'm having a blast. As a personal trainer, I'm having a blast watching this.
Yeah. It's the small things that get these guys going. And when you learn technique, it follows you.
Yes.
Like one of the things that we was talking to B Tuck about is that if you can start technique early,
yes,
the earlier is the best.
Yes.
Because middle school, and then you got the high schoolers, and then you go to college. But when you learn bad technique, bad habits, they follow you as well. So,
exactly.
And then you got different variations of different styles of what coaches like. But if you can just learn the fundamentals parts of it, then that would carry. And that's why when you look at camps like this, Byron Murphy, who was a first-round draft pick for the Seattle Seahawks, we were waiting. We wanted him to go here to the Cowboys. But Byron Murphy, he started off with trench warfare. And his father was here last week, and all of his people was here. And this is where you get it at, right here. You get it down in the trenches. You started when you're young. And I like to use this as a reference point. A tree, when it's at its youth, is easy to bend. But once that tree get old and you try to bend it, it breaks.
Exactly. And, I mean, to be even more specific, you know, when Tyler Guyton was drafted, there were a lot of mixed reviews on him as a draft pick. There were some people who were like, we love it. We love his size. We love what we think he's going to bring to the position of left tackle. And then there were some people who were like, his film is not that great, right? Fact of the matter is, both people were actually right. He does bring a lot to the position, especially in terms of his size, but there are aspects of his film that aren't as great. But when they started getting down to the specifics and asked him directly, like, hey, what is it that you want to improve? One of the things that he talked about was the fact that his feet still kind of moved how they moved when he was a basketball player. When was he a basketball player? In high school. He's still trying to undo habits that he learned in high school. So imagine if he had started playing football younger, was able to come to camps like this, how far along he'd already be. Now, he probably wouldn't be a Dallas Cowboy because somebody would have snatched him up first.
Right.
But it's evidence, it's anecdotal evidence from a player who clearly spends a lot of time breaking down his own game, that what you learn in high school can impact you for a really long time. So the sooner you learn the good technique, the better you're going to be. The sooner that you can implement those reps into your practices, into your gameplay, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then when you talk about transfer of, like, knowledge to skills, like, not everybody, like, this is state of Texas. This is a high school, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in Mississippi, we don't have this, right? So you are blessed to have, you know, a facility like this. And you're blessed that it's air conditioned. They got fans. They got everything cool, so you don't have to worry about the heat. And you can just focus on your craft, right?
Yeah.
So some people, like the Tyler Guyton, I don't know where he's originally from, but I can tell you that, you know, when you 6'8", you got to have somebody specialized with using and handling a 6'8" person. So sometimes there may be people that want to teach him well, but they didn't have the knowledge, right? So by the time he's ready for week one, by him going to O-line masterminds, right, or even if he's working with Duke Manyweather, I think that all of that will work because he just had one issue, and that issue been the issue been with his hands, and his strike and keeping his elbows inside. But shoot, when you like I said, when you're 6'8", it's hard to teach those small little nuances, you know.
Well, Tyler Guyton is from Maynard, Texas. I don't know if he lived somewhere before then or why it took so long for someone to be like, you should be a football player.
Right.
And to someone asked about the release of the schedule. The schedule is supposed to come out this month. Rumors are saying May 9th, but that is not official. Well, actually, let me check and see if any official word did come out. But I know it should be sometime between the 9th and the 15th.
Yeah. They said Minor, Texas. I don't know what that is.
Maynard. It's like, it's practically Austin.
Okay, so yeah.
Like, I can get to Maynard in like 20 to 30 minutes from where I live in Austin.
Yeah. So he ain't from Fort Worth, you know what I'm saying? He ain't down the street,
Right.
you know. But it goes to show you that the more we do these type of things, the more we do these type of projects,
Now
the
I'm
more
on
exposure. Now you on camera. Yeah. We fixing it around. We finna get back and use the other camera. But I wanted to show y'all that right there. It's gonna take me a minute to fix this up, but y'all be still with us. Y'all be patient with us as we build planes as we fly. That's what we do, baby. Like I said, y'all look up that movie Flight now. Denzel Washington, you know. Yeah. Maynard, Texas. There we go. And then we flip back over to this one. Yeah. See how we did that, baby? Yeah. So with that being said, this is a wonderful event out here. And I'm going to tell you, what school you went to, high school-wise?
Oh, I grew up in Louisiana. I went to LaGrange.
Did they have something like this?
No.
No. Yes, Kevin Nichols says Hail Mary. Yeah. Run with me. That's what we doing. We doing Hail Mary stuff. Yeah. And boom. Let's talk about my guy Trevon Diggs and his recovery aspect of it. It's been reported that he's already been working out.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking.
So one of the things that seems to come up repeatedly for Cowboys players whenever they have ACL injuries is there's this timeline that comes out, and everybody expects them to be 100% based on what the timeline says. And then they get out on the field, and it's like, oh, this person doesn't look how they looked the last time that we saw them play. And the fact of the matter is, there's a difference between recovering to the point where you can, walk, run, and jump, versus recovering to the point where you actually have similar levels of athletic ability and athletic performance to what you had before you suffered the injury. And so I feel like that gap in recovery is what Cowboys fans need to learn how to acknowledge and respect when it comes to evaluating these players, because it just takes time for multiple reasons. So one of the things that doesn't get talked about is how an injury like that affects proprioception. And what proprioception is basically your brain's ability to know where you are in space and know how your body is supposed to move based on what you're trying to do and where you are in space, right? So that basically is like this complicated system of your brain sending signals to your muscles so that they know what to do based on where you are and what you're trying to do.
Right.
Now, Law has this awesome video of the anatomy of the knee up right now, which is really significant because one of the things that people don't realize about the knee is that it's not just the joint. The way the knee moves is there's like a complex system of ligaments, tendons, and muscles that allow for some simple movements to take place. And so the ACL prevents the anterior translation of the tibia. I said it right. It's anterior and posterior came up. Perfect.
Come on
so
with
now
it.
y'all know what direction anterior is. So the ACL is supposed to prevent anterior translation of the tibia, right? Now, if you don't have an ACL or that's compromised, now you're in a position to where your hamstring might be overactive, because now your hamstring is basically trying to prevent that anterior translation of the tibia from the back of your leg. So once the ACL is fixed and it
Right.
starts to heal, now you have to go back to, all right, I have to get my mechanics back to the way they were before, before my hamstring had to put in extra work because my ACL was broken or gone. So, and that's just one level of it.
Right.
Then once you figure out the basic mechanics, then you have to take those basic mechanics, which is something that we all have. Like we all walk,
Right.
we all climb stairs, right?
Right,
Now
right,
you
right.
have to take that same adjustment in your mechanics and now apply it to athleticism, and not just basic athleticism like you have to be able to jump. People are going to want to see him go back to the elite level cornerback that he was before. So you're taking the recovery that anybody would have to go
Right.
to, and now you're having to apply that to how do I get back to elite level status.
Correct.
So yes, will he be active at training camp? Likely. And by active, I mean doing something. There are people who are saying he'll be back on the field once the regular season starts. Okay, there's a good chance he will be. But how long will it be before we actually see what we would consider, quote unquote, the old Trevon Diggs? All of that is going to depend on his development, his recovery, and how he's able to implement all those adjustments into basically rebuilding himself as an athlete. That takes time, y'all. It takes a lot of time. It took a lot of time for him to get there. So it's going to take a lot of time for him to get back there. Anybody who's ever worked out, like, do you work out?
Yeah, every now and
Have
then,
you ever,
yeah.
like, encountered a busy time period in your life where you have to go, like, a week without working out, and then you go back and you try to lift?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like, I was at 160. Now it's like that feels like a struggle.
feel
And
like
it
a
takes
struggle.
you a little while to work back up to whatever, your typical weight was, right? Or whatever your typical rep scheme was. Like, imagine that, but so much more extreme, you know?
Man, that's crazy. You broke it down like a fraction. You broke it down. You broke it down like it's like a broken leg. You broke it down to like millions of pieces, which I think that a lot of people put fire in the chat for Jazz because when you think about it, it's the other side of it that I want you to take a deeper dive into as well, and that is the mental mindset of it. As they huddle together.
The mental part of it is so significant. As a matter of fact, like taking it back to the college level, and the reason why I'm taking it back there because there was actually a study done recently on college athletes and their episodes of depression and suicide attempts. And what they found was that a lot of, suicide attempts among college athletes are actually on the rise, but a big part of it had to do with how they are handling and processing injuries. So essentially, to put it in a nutshell, these athletes, they look at themselves as an athlete.
Pause for a second. Osa look like he can play one tech. Osa the guy huge over there, man. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute now. Osa swolled up for us. So, hey, this is a contract year for him. And mentally speaking, we would want him to do his best job out there so that he can get that
100%.
paper and bread. But man, that's what I like to see over here is that's one of the areas of needs of interior play. But keep breaking down the mental mindset of it because I love what you're doing with that,
So what they found with the college athletes, which definitely applies to professionals, especially in their early years, but they found that basically they are so wrapped up in their identity as an athlete. That's who they are. That's what their world revolves around, that when they become injured and that is now at risk, they're at risk of losing it, actually send them into a state of depression.
Right.
Also, a lot of times players, when they suffer an injury that sidelines them for this long, a lot of times they have to worry about their playing time, or
Right.
maybe they personally have never been sidelined that long. They don't know what it feels like to not be the guy. They worry about what the process is for coming back. A lot of times they anticipate coming back faster than they actually can. They'll start to recover to the point where they don't feel pain on a regular basis, but then maybe once they start actually doing drills, they start exercising, they start experiencing pain quicker than they used to before they suffered the injury.
Right.
So there's all sorts of things that can make an athlete question, okay, what is my recovery process going to be like? Can I actually go back to being that guy? Will I actually be, I think it cut me off.
What, you live?
I can't hear myself.
What about now?
No.
Okay, what about now?
Now I can hear myself.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there's all sorts of things that will make an athlete question, okay, like, will I be able to go back to being that guy? And if I can't immediately, what does that mean for me? Just trying to deal with the fact that sometimes they're going to try to execute things that they won't be able to do, or it causes pain or discomfort in a way that it didn't used to. There's so many things that just mentally these players have to overcome. It's not as simple as let me get up and go to practice, let me, go throughout my week the same way I used to. It's now like, okay, I have to readjust and have to rebuild the mentality that I had
Right.
before, along with rebuilding the physical abilities that I had before.
Right.
And Roy Williams, I'm sorry, I don't do one-word answers hardly ever, but I'll
it's
work with
ingredients.
you.
It's ingredients in there. There's a lot of minerals and all of that good stuff. And hey, you broke it down. And for those who only looking for the short bites, sit back, man, and digest this. This is not like hamburger helper. This is the actual food without the hamburger and the helpers. This is the actual. What do you call that? Home cooked meal, man.
I've actually worked with a lot of athletes
Yeah.
who, whenever I'm trying to get them through an injury,
Right.
a surprising number of them actually question whether or not
Mm-hmm.
they should just quit. Now, a lot of the athletes that I work with, they weren't getting paid as much as Trevon Diggs is. He has a
Right.
lot more incentive to keep going.
Right.
But, just there are a lot of athletes who struggle with that. Like, you know what, maybe I can never get back. Maybe I should just find something else to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
So there are just so many struggles in terms of identity and personality and purpose in life that these guys go through. It's not just about let my knee get better and I'll go out and do the thing.
And I go do this.
Like it's a whole process.
It is, and it's stressful too, because what the Cowboys got, or players in general, it's not for long.
Facts.
It's like big gaps in your resume now, So it's like you starting off at an entry level, because in your early 20s, you sitting here playing this game, and if you don't have no degree to fall back on, it can come back to bite you in the worst way possible. And then you be like, hey, man, then that dude used to play for such and such, he's working at Walmart now. No offense to working at Walmart,
Right.
But that's just how it goes. NFL stands for not for long. So these guys got to mentally understand that. It's a year-to-year league. Contracts are not guaranteed like they supposed to be, because we all do know this one thing for sure, is that you can literally be playing for one team one year and then be cut, even if you have your guaranteed money the next year.
Yes.
So it's just how it is.
We're seeing that a lot lately.
Yeah.
C. Brown asked if I'm a physical therapist. I'm not. I'm a personal trainer and a performance enhancement specialist.
Mm-hmm.
So I work out with people, and a lot of my clients end up being athletes on some level. I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'm working with like NFL players, but I've worked with soccer players, roller derby players, frisbee players, women's football players. I've worked with athletes in various regards.
Well, today, when all is said and done, we're gonna get you working with some athletes, man. Some NFL players. We got a good guy. He got a training camp that's coming around the corner, and it's for the youth. And his name is Buddy Johnson. And so we're gonna make sure we collide those worlds, so that you can get involved with some of the players. All it takes is one.
Yep, this is true.
Just like
I have friends who
I'll take
like
one.
they got one good client, and they worked with that client from high school through college, and it kind of set them up for success. Or as a matter of fact, I trained with David Alexander, who I don't know if your audience knows who that is, but a lot of people in the training community know who that is. And he was a trainer for probably 10 or 15 years before he ended up just randomly working with Dwayne Wade. It was when Dwayne Wade thought he was going to retire. And David Alexander was like, nah, I don't actually think you need to retire. Come work with us. We'll get you back in shape. And I think he did 3 more years after working with David Alexander.
Oh, wow.
And so, but like him getting that one client actually changed the entire trajectory of his business. And because of what he was able to do for Dwayne Wade, he ended up getting a lot more other NBA clients. And I learned so much from that guy and his team, just when it comes to the importance of not just teaching athletes how to be tough, but also to like keep them out of pain, to teach them proper mechanics, proper form, and what that can do to the longevity of their careers and just the life of their bodies. Like, like learning from other trainers is the
Right.
best thing you can do for yourself as a personal trainer.
No doubt.
It's
no doubt.
amazing.
It is flat out amazing because when, for example, when you saying that learning from other trainers and then also building up this what you call this, like not resume, but when you're talking about shared borrowed credibility.
I just look at it as like experience, knowledge,
Yeah.
information. Like I almost consider it like a network because like a lot of the stuff that David Alexander teaches, for example, comes from the concepts that are taught in CSCS.
Right.
You know, so it's like you take textbook concepts and then you teach it to a person, they apply it to an athlete, and then they take that and now they teach somebody else who applies it to another athlete. And it just becomes like this network and this long chain of information that's actually been applied. So, yeah.
Man, it's great right here. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up for this first intermission. You know, because we've been live for how long? We've been live, y'all.
I don't even know.
We've been live for a minute, and Jazz been dropping all truth bombs and breaking down, you know, the knee. And shoot, girl, you've been on it.
We need to get Osa over here so
Yeah.
we can talk about anime. I want to know what he's watching these days.
Yeah. Let me see.
I
Let me see.
don't know if I should look at the camera or look at you.
Oh, this could be a live deal. Let's see. Hey, let's see if the cameraman can get the Osa come over here.
I'll just go over there and get him.
Go get him. I know you. Yeah. Here come. Now watch Osa gonna come now. You know, when I tried, you know, he just kept looking off. Just playing with y'all. Go Texans. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this. We hopefully get Osa in for a quick second, talk about anime, and get things going from here, y'all. I'm about to pull the plug and see. Look, Osa. He coming now. Yeah, what's good with you, man? My dog, what's good with you, man?
How you doing?
Man, Sack.
Oh, wow.
What's good with you? We're going to get you in the, well, we put her in the white chair. No. Put that man way in the back. Anime. No, this.
Is this one on?
That one yours. I'm going to play around with this one. Give me a mic check.
Mic check. I can't hear me.
Can't hear you? Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Mic check. Okay, I can hear myself now. I can't hear you yet.
Can you say something, Osa?
Is he in 4?
I can hear myself.
What about now?
I'm good.
Yeah, you 4.
Okay, now I can hear him.
Shoot, girl, you smart. He's like, is he 4? he's Dak Prescott today,
My brother
y'all.
and my best friend are sound engineers, so I know soundboard a little bit.
Yeah. So, I know you want to talk anime, but I just got to ask the brother, did you watch X-Men 97?
Not yet.
Oh.
I've seen people talk about it on TikTok, but I haven't looked at it yet.
What have you been watching lately?
I mean, I started watching like Jobless Reincarnation because they started dropping new episodes. Jujutsu Kaisen when it was out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Haven't been watching like a ton lately. Watched Invincible. Doesn't really count as an anime, but it was fire.
I think
Great
it's as
season
close
2.
to anime as like American animation can get. Like it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the end of the last season of Jujutsu Kaisen?
It's fire. Like, left a lot of like cliffhangers. I think it's going to be a good next season.
I agree.
I'm in the deep end, y'all. I don't know it.
You're not a JJK fan?
No, see, I'm on the deep end. I'm in the bushes with this one. All I know is X-Men, Invincible, and there's a one on HBO.
Ninja Kamui?
Yeah, with the guy with the
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching that one, but the mecha suits kind of.
the suits.
Not a
yeah,
fan?
yeah.
Once it's gotten like CGI and stuff like that, I'm like,
One of them getting to fighting and the suit ran out of batteries. I'm saying, like, what's going on? You know?
That happens. I mean, okay, I can get with that.
Okay.
Somebody asked about solo leveling. Yes.
oh yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Solo leveling.
I love that one.
It was fire. It was really
I
good.
I really like the concept of it. So it's like it's not. Well, I think it is shonen, but it also falls into another category. I forget.
I think it's because it was from like a webtoon first. Like,
Yeah. But I just like the concept of like, okay, you're born with a certain destiny, and then something happens, and instead of that like leading to the end of what you thought you were going to do, actually you're able to flip the situation and become more powerful than ever.
Yeah, I just like the fact that the main character is like in his 20s. I feel like a lot of times in anime you get like high school kids.
True, that's a good point.
As the main character. So I felt like him being in his 20s was pretty dope. The fact that he keeps doing that super dangerous job because he's trying to provide for his family, extremely relatable.
Yeah.
You know?
Relatable to you?
Yeah. And then just like, it was good. So I read ahead, like I finished the story like through the manga and like the light novel, and I just felt like his energy and like his attitude was pretty dope too.
Do you find a lot of anime to be relatable in that way?
Not like a ton of them. Like, I guess like Bleach kind of, because like it's all about like protecting the people that you care about.
I love
And,
Bleach.
like Ichigo's whole reasoning. Naruto is like probably one of the most relatable ones, just because like it's all about him training and grinding to achieve his dream and trying to become the greatest ninja. Like Dragon Ball Z is super relatable because all he does is train and try and get to the next level and get to the next level and get to the next level after that, right?
So it
there's,
sounds like you're a big shonen fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Voltron?
What's Voltron?
I'm messing with y'all.
I'm like, are you really asking?
No. Keep going. Y'all breaking it down, man. And I'm gonna go back and go watch all of these things. You know.
So
It's
I want to go
Naruto.
back to anime being relatable because like I
Okay.
feel like we're going somewhere here,
Sailor
especially
Moon.
with you being a Bleach fan, right? One of the most interesting things that I find about Bleach, especially about Ichigo's character, right, is this whole idea that he eventually finds out, and if I'm spoiling for anybody, you should have seen this already. But he eventually finds out that he's part Hollow, right? Hollows are supposed to basically be the enemies of mankind. They're dangerous. They kill people. And instead of him looking at himself as like, oh, I'm a monster, I'm terrible, he's like, no, I'm going to learn how to use this to actually protect the people I care about. And I feel like there's something about controlling your inner demons that like a lot of competitive athletes can kind of relate to. Because one of the things that I hear about athletes all the time is that they all have this sort of like, I guess like sort of a dark side or some sort of motivation that maybe some people would consider to be less altruistic, but they're able to take that and use it to benefit their team, to do something that will help them take care of their family. Like, do you see that parallel?
Wow. I mean, I didn't even think about it like that, to be honest. I just thought Bleach was probably like one of the coolest, just in terms of like the concept, the power system and the world building. Like there was Zanpakuto and that whole concept. I thought that was dope, but I never thought about it like that. But I thought it was relatable just in the sense of like it's very self-actualizing and like the things that they believe about themselves. Like you can see that take place in the fights. Like when they lose is because someone else is losing the will to fight, and that's why like their sword will break at the end. But like when you put it like that, that is facts because like obvious, especially when it comes to like a violent sport like
Yeah.
football.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like everyone, you got to have that dog in you. You got to have a screw loose. You have to have that, like D-Law said, like that deep down inside. You know? Like,
I had to get my dog in there. I had to go find it, dog.
It's
like you have to have that deep
Yeah.
down inside because it's a violent sport. You have to, like, want to make contact. You want to have to impose your will on other people, like, and be violent and inflict damage a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, so...
Yeah.
That
I've
makes
always
a lot
wondered
of
that
sense.
because like a lot of y'all do seem like pretty dope people, but it's like I played roller derby for a while, and so like I have friends who
Right.
like nicest people off the track, but on the track will literally kick your ass. One of my best friends, Freight Train, like
sound like somebody.
she was somebody who I loved and hated
Yeah.
to practice with because it's like if I like people literally fear her on the track.
Right.
And it's like if I were ever, even like during warm-ups, if I would like knock her down or slow her down, I'm like, okay, I'm proud of myself because I did something good. But I knew when she made that next lap around, she was going to hit me harder. And that's why nobody wanted to practice with her. Cause like, but it's like she looked at it as almost like an act of love. Like, I want you to get better, so I'm gonna knock the shit out of you.
Hell yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're gonna improve. So I feel
Yeah.
like with a lot of athletes who play contact sports, physical sports, you have to have that balance of like, yeah, I do kind of have a screw loose that makes me love violence, but there's also a side of me that's like super cool, and it's not that I want to like destroy people, but I understand that like pain and disappointing people sometimes is part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. So that's just what comes with it. And, you know, you got to do whatever you can to end up on the right side of that.
Let's talk about the mind then. When you get ready and you get started to play the game, what songs, what music you listen to get you into that mindset, or you just naturally turn that mindset on?
I mean, it kind of naturally comes, but definitely there's some playlists that I have. Like, I have to pull out my playlist.
Hey, y'all get ready to copy this playlist.
So
yeah.
When I was at UCLA, I listened to like a lot of Chief Keef. There was like a 50 Cent on there. So it starts off as like I'll Whoop Your Head, Harambe, Special, La La by Ski Mask.
Okay.
Sky Say by Chief Keef, Callin', Mailbox, Kills, Finito, War, I Need More, Ain't Nothing, Sosa Chamberlain, Get Money, 10 Toes Down, Knock It Off, Mo Bamba, Live Sheck West.
You've got good taste.
Like a lot of, there's some that I put on here that was just like Enemies by Lil Uzi, Do What I Want by Lil Uzi, just to like bring a little bit more energy. My Baby, Chief Keef, Don't Come Out the House by 21 and Metro Boomin, 10 Freaky Girls.
Kevin asked, do you listen to any Outkast?
A little bit, not before the game though.
Not before the game. This before the game playlist, you know.
Now, as an anime fan, do you listen to Daddy Fat Snaps? No? Okay.
Who is that?
Yeah, who that? Break that down.
He makes rap music from the perspective of anime characters. You've never listened to him? Okay, I'm gonna have to send you some of my favorite Daddy Fat Snap songs because I feel like you would like him.
Yeah.
Are you looking him up now?
Yeah, he got the Google machine going.
I'm gonna pull it up so you can see it.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
there's no Wi-Fi in here?
No. Wi-Fi. I'm connected through this my cell phone. Matter of fact, speaking of that, I got to put it on the juice right here. We got a new coach in the building, man. Coach Zim. What's your thoughts on him?
You know, Coach Zim, I'm excited to work with him. You know, he's definitely more structured and, you know, I wouldn't say like as loose of an environment with as you would get with DQ, but I'm just, as long as we're on the same mission, you know what I mean? That's what matters to me.
He's old school territorian,
like
you know, a disciplinarian. He's gonna be the dude that say, "Hey, get your butt through there." And we were talking about earlier the different philosophies, man. When you was out there at Oxnard, man, bro, you was putting in 110% work. You remember I showed you the footage that you was doing, and I was telling people that when you put in extra work like that, you gonna get the results because everyone have a reason, but results are what matter.
Yeah.
And you was just doing that extra work, but I was telling people, I was there long enough to see how practice was before Dan Quinn got there. And see, Dan Quinn, he put the hat to the back and he was putting extra work on the field with that. What is the difference between a coach that's on the sidelines during the game versus a coach up in the booth?
As far as like a D coordinator?
Yeah, defensive coordinator. From your perspective.
Like you mean during practice?
I know during practice Quinn was hands-on, but I'm talking about during the game, he was in the press box. What's the difference between those two from your perspective? Not much. It don't really mean anything for you.
Yeah, I'm focused on what's going on the field. Like if they got feedback for me, they'll get that to me through my D-line coach.
Through Dirt A and all them. Okay, but now you got who's going to be Greg Ellis?
Yep, and Coach Z.
Coach Z. You can't say his last name, man.
I mean, I haven't practiced it enough to where I feel comfortable trying to say it.
Yeah.
I'll probably butcher it. I'd rather not.
Yeah, Coach. We know extra laps over here talking to laws. You get some extra laps out there, also. You know.
Hey, I'm about to slide back over there. I want to catch some of these one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Some of these youngins.
Man, I appreciate you so much for sliding through, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to check out Daddy Fat Snaps.
Fat Snaps with a P.
Yes.
I can't wait. Can't wait. All right, that's Osa, y'all. Yeah. Appreciate you. Now, you want to wrap it up or you want to go over some of the things that you talked about? What's your thoughts on Osa?
I mean, it seems like he's in good spirits whenever it comes to what to expect from Zim. Very even kill. Doesn't seem to be like, super high or super low on it, which I think is a great approach. It sounds like he's controlling the controllables. So I think that's great. Like there's nothing more that I would ask for in terms of a mindset from someone in his position at this point in the year.
Most certainly.
So,
Most certainly.
I dig it.
When you think about this, I think that he said a nugget, and I didn't want to pronounce too much. I started to pronounce. I should have said, what you doing with your foundation? But he said a good nugget. He said more structure. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it wasn't shade, but I was trying to, bait him into it, but a little bit. But, I think that when he said better structure, that's going to go a long way when we start talking about double A gaps and shooting through B gaps and stuff like that. And knowing that he's going to be our 3-tech, he's going to have to play a very pivotal role because he's going to be that exact person to line up and shade the outside. So, of course, you're going to have D-Law next to him, but in Mike Zim's system, he's going to be the guy that makes sure that he takes on those two gap situations going on. Right. So it's going to be great. I can't wait. To see how this thing going to all flow, during the off season and when we get down there at Oxnard.
Yeah, and I think structure also refers to like how they learn things too, and I think the additional structure will help them like more quickly incorporate things to the point where they're second nature. So. Like I said earlier, we should see some impressive things from our defense.
Somebody going to clip it and say, more structure. But I don't want, he's in a contract year. So very much so we know how the Jones family play with that. And I'm not beating them up, but it's no guarantees that he will be here next season. So he can't go too ham and like, and then – then the Washington team like, I heard what you said, brother. You know what I'm saying? Or Dirty say, I heard what you said, Seattle. So I don't want these guys to mess up their bags over here talking to Law. Right. But this was phenomenal. We're going to do a wrap-up because they're going to it's 1:44. I think food going to come out in a few. And we'll be back, man, with some more content for you all. My name is Law Nation. This is Jazz from BLS, Bitches Love Sports. Let people know, man, where they can find and follow you again.
Go to bitcheslovesports.com, or if you're already on YouTube, just go search Bitches Love Sports Podcast, and I'll pop right up. Yeah,
she popped right on up. And if you're watching right now, please do me a huge favor. Go to her page and subscribe. Follow her because she's getting close to that 1K.
I am. Yeah. I'm almost there, less than 100 away.
Less than 100 away. So
I appreciate all the help.
By this time next week, we should already be popping champagne bottles. You know what I mean? Oh, and I forgot to say, hey, you need a physical. What'd you do again? Personal trainer,
performance enhancement specialist.
So it's
I'm pretty sure he has somebody.
But he needs somebody else. I see when he walked off. He like, hey, hit me up. Instead of PEDs, you PES. You know, I love it. Hey, y'all, man, it was a pleasure, man, talking to y'all today, man. I can't believe it. We out here live, trench warfare. My guy, Brandon Tucker, B-Tuck, man, I'm going to tell you, this is the thing. Byron Murphy got his skill sets from this camp right here. It's from the youth. It's from the ground. You got to build yourself from the ground up. And, the race is not to the swift nor the battle to the mighty. You got to endure it. You got to figure out ways to continue to practice, to work on your craft, and everything will come to you. Ain't that right? Because when you first started YouTube, you wasn't clicking like that, was it?
Not at all.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm just getting there.
Yeah. By this time next year, sure, we would have these wheels on this plane, and we said we finna have the plane taking off.
Yes.
Fly around the world, and now we're gonna come back and land. And she gonna already been watched flight by that time, and I'm gonna have my Naruto's ready. Come on with it. Yup.
We do need to get you on some anime.
I need to get some animation. I was like this. I was like, help me, But it was a good conversation. But I do watch Invincible though.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Real good one. Yeah. That's all the time we have, baby. Let's get it.